Hey everybody, welcome to The Beat. You got the Beat Man here, Rich Navarre. Have I got a show for you tonight? You ain't gonna believe this. Many of you know my guest tonight. He is a talent agent. He is a booking agent. He is a scout for new talent. And he books bands all up and down the Gulf Coast in Alabama and in Pensacola. Mr. Chris Popwell, the Shag Man, Shaggy, or just plain Shag, he'll answer to any of those, is here on my show tonight. And this is a very important show because if you see this show, you might want to tell a friend who might be a fellow musician, because Shag is going to impart upon us some very, very, very good information about what it takes to be a success in the music industry, especially along the Gulf Coast here in Pensacola, Alabama, and so forth. Most musicians, though they have so very much talent and they're so good, are for the most part lousy business people. I'm sorry for saying that, but that's just the way it is. The better a business person you can be, especially as a band leader, the more shows you're going to get booked, the more quality shows you're going to get booked, and the higher wage you're going to get booked, okay? So it's going to be very important. You don't want to miss him and what he has to say tonight. So, hey, I'm glad you're here. I really am. I've been thinking all week of who else to have on the show. And next week, we're going to have a very special guest. Mr. Jim George is going to be here. Now, if you've not seen Jim George play, he's been in all kinds of bands around here. Currently, he's playing with Vinyl Revival and a few other bands too, but I know he's playing with Vinyl Revival, and that's a heck of an act. If you haven't seen that, oh my goodness. Lee Masker, he's playing in that band as well. He plays keys, and I'm not sure if he switches up and plays guitar or whatever. I think he also sings as well, but it's quite an ensemble. I think it's a good six-piece, but they really do a good job on 80s and 90s music. They always get a huge, huge crowd. So you're going to want to check them out. There's no doubt about it. But what I want to talk about first, before I get started, Pensacola musicians. Why is there so much drama? I don't get it. And I'm part of that. I have to say that because I'm going to impart two stories to you. Personal experiences of my own that fit this perfectly. What do I mean by drama? Well, just in the past couple of months alone, there have been several bands that have either replaced major players in the band, or they have broken up and dissolved altogether. There have been some new projects come out, and I'm going to talk about those here in a minute when I talk about upcoming shows, but for the most part, it pains me, it hurts me in my heart to know that there is so much animosity in Pensacola among the music community. It shouldn't be that way. We should be united, we should be together, okay? Because you never know when... if you end a relationship with somebody, you may need that individual someday for a very important gig, and then what are you going to do? You're going to be, either going to have to forego the gig, or really have to take somebody that you don't want to take because they just won't fill the bill and cut the mustard, so to speak, to use an old term. But anyway. I'm not going to name any bands. I'm not going to name any band members in this. That's not my goal. I don't want to disparage any band. I don't want to talk down about any band. That's not my goal here at all. I always find the good stuff in every single band. Okay, that's what the Beat Man's all about. I'm here for the band. I'm here for the live music scene. I don't care if you're a solo act, you're a duet, a trio, or a full 6, 7, 8-piece band. Doesn't matter to me. I'm here for you, okay? And that's why it pains me sometimes to see some of these situations happen. You'll be seeing in the next couple of weeks or so, some of the bands that you were used to seeing around and hearing about are just not anymore, okay? Which brings me to my personal experience with two bands. I have, as you know, I'm the senior staff writer for SingPensacola.com. However, I haven't written an article in a while, but I did write one a while back called "I'm Fired?" with a question mark. And in that article, I discussed what my experience was like getting let go from a band or a project simply from a text message and nothing more, okay? The thing about that is, yeah, whether it's text message or whatever, I mean, I would rather have it face to face. I'm a shoot from the hip kind of guy, okay? You know, if I mess up, I try to tell every band that I've ever been involved with. You don't like what you hear, then tell me. I'll change it, okay? I'm too fast, tell me. I'm too slow, tell me. If I'm not in the pocket, what am I missing? I can correct and I can get back into the swing. But I got to know that. And the problem is that today's bands, I mean, people don't want to talk honestly. How many of you have gone through a rehearsal for your band and had some very, very awkward moments during that rehearsal because somebody wanted to make a point in the band and somebody dissented? You know what I mean? People are going to dissent. Musicians are not always going to agree. I understand that, okay? However, when you spend time with a group of musicians and you get to know them personally and you rehearse with them once, maybe twice a week, week in, week out, preparing for shows, and then playing shows with them, you get close to these people, okay? I feel close to every band that I've ever been involved in because I feel personally involved, you know, in the success or not of what's going on in the band. You know what I mean? That's just me, and I want to make it right because the music is the first and foremost important thing to the beat man. Okay, that's got to be. I tell every band member and every band I join. I have no ego when it comes to the music, okay? Tell me if I'm messing up. Stop me in the middle of the song if you have to. I can take it. That's fine. I just want to make it right for the band because the music's got to be right. It's got to be right for the audience. What are we doing it for? We're doing it for the audience, right? And we're doing it to get paid. That's another thing. Anyway, I had two experiences. One a while back with a country band. I'll remain nameless. But we rehearsed here at the Beat Man's house. This was the rehearsal spot right here in this studio, KTV Studios. And we rehearsed at least once a week and maybe an extra if we had a show coming up. And we played several venues all around Pensacola. And we're doing pretty good, you know. And I was feeling really good about it because, and I'd never really been in a modern or newer country band. But this band appealed to me. That the choice of music was sounded like more like blues to me. You know, with a fiddle every now and then or a steel guitar, so they call it country. I don't know. To me, it felt like blues, so it was easy for me to play and to sing too, because I did a lot of harmonies and sang some lead licks too. And you know, it was just a heck of a lot of fun. Even got to do a New Year's party with this band. Oh my goodness, I'd waited for years and years and years to be in the band that would do a New Year's party at any place. And I had such fun. So did the band and everybody that was there. However, and this is where it really gets wrong. One night at one venue, there was a supposed complaint by the manager of the venue that people weren't participating enough. They weren't dancing enough. Now, understand, whenever I do a show, I do an observation of the room. And I look around the room, and I look at the tables and everything else. Now, this particular night, at this particular venue, the tables were full of empty beer bottles and cocktail glasses. There was many. They were everywhere. And I saw quite a few people dancing, and they were having fun. Several of the women were doing line dancing, and it was a great time. You know what I mean? But evidently, the manager wasn't happy. So, band leader and the second, boy, is it tough, were called in and to talk about it. And the bottom line here was that was my very last show with that country band. And here's the irony and here's the pain of it. You know, I may have had a bad night. I don't know. I may have been off. I couldn't tell because there were people dancing and people drinking and everybody was seemingly having fun. And then out of nowhere, there's a problem, okay? This happens. I understand that, okay? I was ready to roll with it. No problem, you know, and take my licks for it, whatever. The rest of the band members, unfortunately, didn't feel that way. And from that point on, basically, I was ghosted. All the time we practiced together and the gigs that we played together culminated in one show, and that was the end of it, period. I tried to reason with the band and talk to them about this. They wouldn't have it. All the other members of the band were in agreement that I was to be booted out of the band. Now, since then, they tried to replace me with another drummer, but the band has dissolved, and they're no longer playing around Pensacola anymore. Excuse me. The musicians in that band were really, really good. And they've gone on to bigger and better projects. And I am so happy for them. I'm proud that they went on to bigger and better things. That's fantastic. It doesn't make the hurt go away. You know, I'm a giving kind of guy. And I've been doing this for the past 3 years, 4 years. We've seen Pensacola and now with the beat. And you know what I mean? I've not asked anybody for a dime, a penny, or whatever. It's all been on my own dime. It's I pay for everything. Every time I've gone to a venue, pay for my own meals, my own drinks, everything. And everything I've ever done has been for the band. Okay? And in this particular band, I really, really, really was hurt because I really thought we had something. We were going places. And then because of one night, one show, that was the end of it. Okay? Another instance, I want to tell you, some of you may have seen some clips on my Facebook feed, but for over a year I worked with another band in another genre. And we spent over a year almost having weekly rehearsals, preparing and getting things together. And then because of a heated conversation in the moment, 1 year's worth of work went the way of the dinosaur. What can I say? I tried to work it out. They didn't want to hear it. So after a whole year's worth of time spent on this, it's now been dissolved. And some of you may be able to guess what band that is, but you won't hear me say it right here. Okay? Here's my point, folks. Be careful. Try to be honest. Talk to your band members. Trying not to be so heady and haughty that your pride gets in the way of being able to express your feelings. It's the only way you guys are going to stay together. How do you think some of these big bands have stayed together for so many years? They fought together. They fought each other over and over and over again. But because of the sake of the music and the relationship, they pull it back together. How about the Rolling Stones? ZZ Top, to name a few. I mean... Wow, until Dusty died, ZZ Top, years and years, decades together. They had their problems, but they stayed together. It just pains me to see Pensacola musicians having these kinds of relationships and wrecking relationships when it doesn't really necessarily have to be. We could all get along, we can all play together, and we can all make money together and have a whole bunch of fun if we just talk to each other, and that's my point, so... All right, I only got a few minutes left, so I'm going to talk about the upcoming shows that are coming up here in Pensacola tonight at the Handlebar. Started, actually 15 minutes ago, starting at 6 p.m. Youth Year plays with Luciano, Blame My Youth, and Let Down. Don't ask me who these bands are. I have no idea, but I am going to promote them anyway. I'm sure they are... loud and proud, without a doubt. Five Sisters Blues Cafe, also 6 p.m. Charlie and the Hammerheads. You like blues? Go see Charlie Stowe and his group, Charlie and the Hammerheads. They put on a good show, and they're good musicians, too. If you like to dance, too, they'll give you some dancing music. Also, at Five Sisters Blues Cafe. False Identity, I guess, is going to be playing from 9 to 1 a.m. if I got that right. Tonight at Bamboo Willie's, Thin Ice from 8 till midnight, it looks like. You've heard of Thin Ice. I've covered Thin Ice in the past. They're a great band. You ought to go out and see them. If you're going to be in that area, you want to check out that show. Hub Stacy's downtown tonight from 7 to 12. And tomorrow, same time, Michael Wheeler and John Hart. Have you ever seen John Hart? Man, can that man play. If you get a chance to get down to Hubs, you need to go see John Hart and Michael Wheeler. That's sure to be a really good show. Tonight at Hubs at the Point, Saucy Fuzz. Now, I've never seen Saucy Fuzz, but I'm looking forward to it. With a name like Saucy Fuzz, they gotta be crazy. And then tomorrow, the Justin Culver Band will be playing at Hub Stacy's at the Point. Tonight at Calvert's in the Heights, South Crow Road Band. Also on March 15th, 7 to 10 p.m. is Gene LeBay and the Reverberators. Now, folks, this is a brand new act making his debut out here. I think he's played one show at Calvert's already. However, he's coming up on the 14th. You've got to go see Gene LeBay and the Reverberators. This is blues and New Orleans style funk like you've never seen it. So go make sure you go see that show. Tonight at Andy D's Roadhouse in Navarre at 7 p.m. Vinyl Revival. Go see my friend Jim George play the drums behind Vinyl Revival. They are always a good show. 80s and 90s music. Always get your feet moving. March 9 at Goatlip, 7 to 9 p.m. Jack Grimley plays a solo show there. You want to go see Jack? April 7th, the Calverts are going to open for Bands on the Beach. They're going to be the very first act for Bands on the Beach. I'm looking forward to that. Probably going to be there covering that show. And they're a new band, a new act, so I'm looking forward to what they're going to do. And some weekly shows. If you're around town, you want to catch some stuff that's repeated during the week. On Monday, you can catch Blues Jam at Seville Quarter. That's sponsored by the Northwest Florida Blues Society. Always some good blues acts coming through there. And then they have an open gym at 9 o'clock. Yours truly, as a matter of fact, next Monday, I will be in attendance. And at 9 o'clock, you'll see me on the kit jamming with some of the local musicians there. It should be a lot of fun. Tuesday nights, open mic jazz at 1216 North. You might get over there and check that out. Wednesday, you can always see Rocky Denny at Goat Lips. He has a blues jam. Rocky Denny and the Brotherhood plays for a good 45 minutes or so, and then he opens it up to a local talent to come on in and play, and that's always a good time. And then Thursday also there's a jazz night at 1216 North. This is not open mic, but if you want some quality jazz entertainment, my man Melodious Allen usually is there playing the keys and singing, and he's got quite a thing going on Thursday night at 1216 North, so you don't want to miss that. Woo! Well, I tell you what, I'm dry. Now, 'tis time for us to move on to the next segment. Let me introduce you to a musician, a talent scout, booking agent by the name of Chris Popwell. He goes by Shag or Shaggy. I'm sure he'll answer to either one of them. But he's going to be here today, and we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a successful band here in Pensacola. And we're going to talk about that, and then him and I are going to jam. Shag, come on in, man. How you doing? How you doing? Have a seat. Have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. So, I'm so glad you were able to come and do my show, man.
I'm very appreciative that you do things for other musicians around, and appreciate you letting me come on, and hopefully we can pass on some good vibes and good knowledge to people.
Dude, you know what? This is probably one of the most important shows for the Beat Man, because this man here has knowledge and information for anybody that's in a band right now, especially you younger bands that have tons of talent and tons of testosterone, but have little business acumen. This man's going to impart some knowledge upon you that's going to help you in your business and your music career here on the Gulf Coast and in Pensacola. First thing I got to know, though, you got to tell everybody. All right, 2 shows ago, I went over how I got the name The Beat Man, and you got to tell me how you got the name Shag or Shaggy. Which one's the most preferred, by the way?
Shag.
Shag? You like Shag, okay.
You know, pretty much Scooby-Doo thing. Kind of, resemble it and all that good stuff. And, try to keep life easy and simple.
Well, that makes sense to me. Who got the name? Who actually gave you that name?
I couldn't tell you at this point, and it's been so many years, I have no idea.
Has it been?
At this point, but I dig it, so it kind of fits me. So I've always cherished it and worn it proudly.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Well, tell me also. Now, are you a native Floridian or Alabama?
No, I'm a native Alabamian. Yes.
Okay. And you're currently stationed out of what town?
I live in Lillian.
Lillian? Okay,
Yes.
that's just right across the border.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, you got Johnny B's over there just across the border. Great venue over there. Anyway, I would like to know how you got started in talent scouting and becoming a booking agent. Give me a little bit of history on that.
That is a great question, actually. What happened was COVID came along. All of my friends, musicians, guess what? Couldn't play music anymore.
Yeah.
So I came up with the 52 band festival with a chef, and
what?
I took this idea. It's called Chords for the Community, and I took that idea to KOL, which is Angry Crab Shack, and they Hurricane Grill and Wings, and Chronic Taco, and Rotillo's Pizzeria. Any which way, I took it to the manager. He liked the idea. He took it to the owner. They thought it was a great idea, and we moved forward. And we have, as a matter of fact, you can check the website today. Even I think it's still there, chordsforthecommunity.com. And the idea went forward. We got permitting, and I want to say it might have been the week of or the week before. The government of Orange Beach pretty much capitulated to the COVID rules and squashed what we had going. But
that was a drag time.
But that was certainly a huge letdown for myself, a lot of musicians, the venue, everybody. There was a lot of time, work, and thought went into that. But on a positive note, that did, spring to where we went from there. They had no music before I came along. And they have this beautiful stage and this outdoor place that they intended to have music. So any which way, we were able to establish music there and have lots of acts going and promote local music and get up and coming musicians to be able to have a place to play.
Now, would you say that would be the very start of you starting to? I mean, when did you book your first act at your first venue? I mean, it was like a setting down deal. Like, yeah, my first one.
That was it 7 years ago, and pretty much I went after that when we made a layout contract for the season, how they wanted to have things run, and where we would have acts and what months. Then I started out and reached out to my friends who are musicians that I knew, and they have their network, and it's kind of like a little spider web, and thank you to them and each one of them, for supporting me, the venues, and the chance to be able to have someone there, to be a door that lets people in, and really is try to open to all types of music, all types of musicians and people.
Yeah, right. You remember the first group you booked?
I remember the first group of acts we had.
You booked so many. You gotta understand. This man booked so many acts over the years. It's incredible. I can't. If he doesn't come up with it, I'm not gonna fault him for that.
I'll give you some quick, deep insight into myself.
Lay it on me.
And this is with music too. And you'll ask anybody to play with me. I never remember titles of the songs I'm playing or the artist of the group half the time. I'm that guy that when the first note hits, I can do that tune in 2 notes. I just know what it is. I don't know how that works, but I do. We had 6-piece suits, and we've had lots of. We had Tyler Mack. I mean, I had T-Bone Montgomery and the Beach Billies. We've had Melodious and his group came out. I've had acts been blessed from all over the Southeast, truly. And,
Never Ending, Shelley's group. Yeah. I know you booked her.
Of course, all types of acts, and again, just really blessed that they would come out and play for us, and that they, did the jobs they did that leads us into having music today.
Yeah, absolutely. Another important thing that's been on my mind, especially knowing that you were coming on the show, and knowing that you book acts of various types and sizes and so forth. What between Alabama and Florida, which state seems to average the higher wage for musicians? Would you say?
That's a good question. It goes by venue, of course, and
Sure.
it's hard to answer that question because some venues are going to have certain nights of the week get paid more,
right.
certain events get paid more,
Sure.
Special type of one time a year big events.
Right. Well, let's just take any average Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
You got a band coming in, say a 3-piece band, coming in to play 7 to 10 or 8 to midnight or something like that. What is the average wage now for bands that you're booking?
Now, of course, again, with every venue, that's gonna vary some because you have.
I'm looking for a broad average.
Okay, let's say.
I don't want to nail you down. I'm looking for a broad.
Let's say
average.
for a full band, 100 on the extreme low end of a scale, and I'm not talking about mine. I'm just talking about average in the area.
Okay.
So let's say 125 a man to where I would like to have them in the 2 and maybe even higher.
Wouldn't we all,
type range.
obviously.
And some get there. It just depends on event, day of the week, what we're doing, why we're doing it. There's a lot of factors that go, and that's why you can't plan on necessarily. If you want to branch out and play during the middle of the week, let's say, those rates are going to be less than playing on a Friday or Saturday. That is just the way business works.
Less crowds, less people in the venue. I understand that.
Right.
But you said something that really, I'm very, very pleased with. And the reason I asked you that question was for a reason. You used a minimum that I've been using here for the past couple of years. I don't think any musician, especially for doing 445s, should get anything less than 100 a quarter.
Yeah.
I think that should be like minimum bare bones wage because, I mean, come on. You and I both know that the wage in Pensacola and Alabama has been very low.
It
for a
is
long period of time.
everywhere. I mean, we're talking musicians for the last, since the 70s are probably
Correct.
making, sadly, the
Correct.
same wage, and the dollar don't go as far as it did then, by
That's
the way,
That's
which
exactly
is another
right.
sad thing. But I think that there's a lot of great opportunity in the area, and if you market yourself the right way, which I'm sure that's something we're going to kind of move on to in a bit, and you're playing good music, then all of those things work themselves out on the money end. I know that for what I do, and I believe in that.
Shag and I both have the same mindset when it comes to the wage in Alabama and in Florida and along the Gulf Coast and stuff. I mean, he would love to be able to book all of his acts at $200, $250, $300 a player. That's just not reality, unfortunately, with the venues that we have to deal with. Okay, but this is one of the things that I want to get your expertise on. One of the things that I've found over the years, being involved in many different bands, Shag, is that if you build a relationship with the venue owner, see that he's nodding,
100%. That's
this,
right.
This is just phase one of what we're going to talk about tonight, folks. Okay, but most bands they feel alienated and they don't get close to the owner, don't try to get to know them. Tell me.
Also, something that happens can happen frequently is that, you'll reach out and you're not sure really. I put out a booking message, but you don't know exactly what I'm aiming to do. And I got to tell you, a lot of times I don't know what I'm aiming to do and what I mean by that is I know what I'm aiming to do, but the venue will change my format like they did this year.
Right.
But to give them a lot of credit now, we did a lot of things to help the musician this year. I'm so proud that we were able to drop an hour of the performance time.
Oh, love that.
And we got the full bands back and the increase in pay for that. So there's a lot of good that comes from all of those things too.
Oh man, that's fantastic. There's some new venues out your way. In there. What's this Red Haven Live? What's that?
Oh yeah, that's Josh Newcomb's new place. I'm definitely want to go check those out. Fabulous family, fabulous band, and they've got a great thing going. And so excited to see what they draw out of that. They're going to hopefully have some great food possibilities to go with that wonderful music, and the atmosphere is awesome. So I would definitely recommend anybody check that out.
They're trying to pack a lot of music in a day out there. I mean, I've seen their schedule.
That's incredible.
Band needed, band needed,
yes.
band needed.
And I would say, if you've got a good local act and you've got your stuff together, if you've got some good solid music, I would reach out to Josh. He's going to probably have you perform for him.
Okay, fantastic. All right, now, we're down to the nitty gritty. Okay? All right, so the key question that I've been wanting to ask you, based on your experience and so forth, tell me what bands need to do to be successful here on the Gulf Coast and in Alabama and Florida and some of these music areas that we have here, especially like Gulf Shores, all the way up to, Tallahassee. I cover all the way up to Tallahassee. But for the most part, down here.
Sure.
You know what I mean? What does it take to be successful?
Well, good, just some common sense, basic, what I consider rules of the road to be good communication. You touched on it in a minute. I'm sorry I didn't get to elaborate on it, but you know that if you get told, no, or we don't have a slot for you, reach out. I'm here for you. Reach out every freaking time you see me. Put a message out. Reach out. And that goes for every booking agent. I'm not speaking for me, because hopefully they're going to realize, like I do, that you're going to grow over time as a musician if that's needed. That may not be needed. That may just be they have another opening for you. But I'm just saying that you will be considered each time. It's not a bother to reach out. You need to reach out. And when you reach out, include your website, your Facebook page, your video links. Do not, here's one thing I would say don't do. Please don't ask the booking agent to go look up your page to find your video. That's not, I'm not trying to be funny. I love you. I want to help you.
No,
but I deal with a lot of musicians, and I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. If you can't take 10 seconds to put your link in there for me, then you, in my view, and maybe it's a little distorted, but in my view, you don't take the time to put effort into what you're doing, and that will reflect in your music. So,
that's exactly right.
Again, just common sense stuff.
Give everybody an idea how many bands or acts that you juggle in any one given time.
Oh, when I had ships just this last go round, I was booking over 100 acts a month just for them. Just for them. And I currently am still doing, oh gosh, now you're going to make me think about it. At least 30 a month now, plus the 10 more at Rotolo's, and I'm probably off a few.
Wow.
But anyway, it's enough that I'm very proud that I get to be involved in that process and that people get to be employed as musicians. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, and trying to, have an open door for anyone. And I mean that. Anyone can always write me if you got told no in the past for whatever occasion or whatever, write me again. I'm a great guy. I'm telling you, just write me and express, hey, I'd like to play, put that video link in there for me. And if you're passionate, I'm going to help you get in there if I can, if it's at all possible.
That's all solid information. And there's another point that I had in my mind that I want to go over that you all need to know too, is there is a proper way to talk to a talent scout or a booking agent if you're trying to get work. Okay, and Shag just alluded to one portion of it, and that's the fact that he's not, with all the acts that he's got that he's trying to book, he doesn't have time to go look at your site, your page, or whatever. You need to have an EPK. Tell them what an EPK is, Shag.
That's right. That's called an electronic press kit. It just means have you, you don't have to make it so fancy. I happen to accept a much lower standard than most places, probably, meaning that you can send me a video of you performing, a live video, and I'm good with that. It doesn't have to have a nice EPK. It would be a nice web page with a layout, your pictures, your shows, the crowd in your shows, and your music link.
Right.
So, but if again, it's better to have some video. It shows that you're proud of what you're doing and that you take it serious. And the booking agent will take you serious.
Oh, that's gold, folks. You listen to what this man has to say. why are bands around here such lousy business people, Shag? Do you have any insight on that? I mean, there are so many talented musicians out there, but so many of them don't know what they're doing. What's the problem?
I think that when we're creatives, we sometimes get wrapped up into what we're doing so much that we're tunnel visioned into that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to be tunnel visioned into your creative process. But you have to be wise enough to realize that other people need to see the package and the vision, and you need to be able to put that in a way that they can understand what you're doing so that you can be sold. And that would be how I take it. If you take that effort and that thought process and you put yourself together in a way that visually makes sense in a concise, short time, do not send hours of stuff.
Nobody's got, you know what? Nobody.
Yeah, they won't have time.
On average, Shag, tell everybody how long does a venue owner or a booking agent actually look at a clip? How long does it take for them to sum up and decide whether or not they're
30 seconds.
There you go.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Pretty much. I want to hear that beginning. I will personally, because I love music, I'll listen to the whole thing, but they're going to hear that beginning and generally probably going to go, and I want to hear the outro part of it, see if you're put together, if you practiced, you know. I love music, you should do.
Oh, man. This is all stellar stuff. Listen to what we're saying, okay? I mean, he's doing the booking and stuff. Now, I've done that in the past, and I thought it was a real royal pain, so my hat's off to this guy for even taking on the responsibility of wanting to book acts and stuff, because he's always got to deal with cancellations, reorganization of the band, or a problem at the venue, or whatever. That's got to be frustrating, I imagine.
I mean, I don't want to be negative. I want to be real positive because I'm so blessed to be able to help people. But I want to, 7 years, I don't wake up one day without wondering who's playing today, making sure they're going to be there, and that's just part of what I've taken on. I'm not complaining about that. That's part of the gig that I decided to take on. But I just, in return for that, just, go out there and give me your best. That's all I want.
The bottom line here, folks, is if you have somebody like this man here doing booking for you and stuff, you need to give him your utmost respect. That's part of the problem. Asking him to go look at your site or go hunt for your videos is an instant okay. Then I'm moving on to the next act kind of scenario. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Because you don't have time for crying out
It's
loud.
not fair to the other people that took the time to do the simple things. Every post I make, I lay out the very simple little thing, and it's 2 or 3 things. We're not asking for a blood print and a bio. We're just asking for a few little things.
We don't need 2 forms of ID.
No.
We don't need any of that.
So, pretty much availability, and if you haven't played for me, send me the video. That's it.
Fantastic. Okay, item last before we get to the entertainment portion of our show. And this is, we talked about this in the green room, which is my living room, earlier about this and stuff. But now, and this is a sensitive subject, so you're going to have to help me with this. How should bands present themselves wherein political views are concerned?
Oh, this is good. We should have touched on this.
We are touching.
Look, everybody has their own thoughts and views, myself included. But when you take on being a musician, and if that's really what you want to do, and you care about your music, and you want that to be what you're doing for your life, you're not thinking about today. You are making a journey that you know is going to last however long until, you can't play, God takes off, whatever. Then you need to really consider that why would you alienate half or more of your audience? There's no reason people need to know your breakfast every day. There's no reason people need to know, and I see it all the time, and it really shocks me.
I know.
Wonderful musicians that I know, love, employed, will still employ. However, they turned into these wild politicians on the left and right side, and it's just, it's an everyday, and that's their lives have turned into that, and that's just not, my standard is not going to be probably as much unless you really insult a lot of people or do something way off the cuff that the venue sees, and then I have no choice. But what I'm getting at is there's just no reason. I personally have held my political views 7+ years because I work for you. I work for the venue. I don't work for me.
Yeah.
It's not important what I feel or think. Mm-hmm. And other people as musicians, again, you're trying to sell yourself, your musical product, your vision. And why would you want to cloud that with something that is divisive? And I don't care how you feel, it is divisive. Which right, left, center, green, gray, whatever, it's divisive. And it's not needed if you truly love music and you want to do something with it. I just suggest, and I'm just one opinion, I suggest you don't do that. I suggest that is a part of your life that stays in a private area that is not a public thing if that's what you want to do.
That is grade A, 5-star advice, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. You may be passionate about what you feel with world events and things going on nowadays, and I understand that, and this man understands that. However, one thing that we both understand as well is that you, for the sake of your band and your reputation, must remain apolitical. You cannot take a public stand like that unless you're so proud and that's what you want to do. Hey, you want to do that and you want to play to a 50% audience, well then, then go right ahead. That's what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you something, and he'll tell you, doing that, you are chopping off income. You are leaving money on the table. What about the other half of those people that were going to come in and drop a $5 bill in the tip bucket?
One other thought.
Do it.
The venue called me on 3 people because they put some wild political stuff and, so, and once that happens, that's out of my hands. My hands are cuffed at that, so I cannot help you.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yes, that happened. Yes. So please, think about, I know you're an individual and you're passionate. I'm passionate, believe me. But it just don't belong with the, if you're trying to make a business, it does not make business sense.
Okay, lastly, when it comes to the bookkeeping, okay, tell the band what they need to do. If let's say you're a band leader. Tell band leaders what they must do as a band leader and as a business person to make sure that their band is solid financially and that taxes are being paid and things are being done above board so nobody gets in trouble.
Wow, yeah, I would say that everybody knows there's, if you're doing this on a regular basis, you know that there's a tax liability that comes with it, and that's unfortunately is a part of life. However, I would, because I'm not a tax agent or official, I would say definitely, go to your county, talk to somebody, because you definitely do not want to wait till the end of the year and then all those 1099s hit you and, whatever you might owe or not owe. And now I'm not sure again, but I know there was some taxes on tips things passed, so there may be a lot of creative things that an accountant may be able to help you to cover those things with.
You need to find that out.
Yeah, that's on you as a part of a business, running a business, if you do this in a regular fashion.
Yeah, and don't get so wrapped up in the music portion of it, but that's all you're thinking about. You've got to think about the business aspect of what you're doing. Okay, any successful band does that. Either they turn it over to a manager that takes all the responsibility for that, or there's a band leader, somebody in the band that takes control. That's usually the person that's doing the social media advertising, right? And putting a name out there, putting flyers up, and posting dates for shows and so forth. So. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. It's been a pure pleasure having this man here. Shag, thank you so much for coming here for an interview. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the fun part of it. Him and I are going to do a drums and bass thing, just a free jam for a couple of minutes, see how it turns out for your entertainment, because I'm all about entertainment. So is he. All right, man, take the place. Take the place back there. Oh! Now, and before we get started, are you ready to rock this? I want to ask you. Now we're into the music portion of the podcast, and I want to talk about the bass man and the drummer are section mates, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, right. What do we do as section mates for the band?
You mean hold the rhythm?
Correct.
Rhythm section, is that what you?
And what else?
Try to keep good communication.
Yep, absolutely. It's vitally important that the drummer and the bass man have eye contact every now and then, okay? And I don't know about any of you drummers out there, but I like watching the bass man's hands on the neck of the guitar because I can tell by looking at what notes he's playing and how he's playing if I'm keeping time with him or if I'm off, okay? And the last thing I want to be is off. So, anyway, I'm going to do a couple of rhythms and stuff. He's going to come in and it's going to be what it's going to be. Let's see what we can do here. An example of a bass man and a drummer in sync. When we stopped, there was another note played. Let me ask you a question, Shag. What do you think is one of the most annoying things that happens in a rehearsal when you're in a band and you've got a bunch of players in? What really gets annoying and ticks you off about the process of rehearsing? I'd like to know from your point of view.
Well, I would say that it would stem from probably guys that weren't prepared when they came to practice, and that's okay at first when you're building something. I get that, but probably one of the worst things that happened for me was if another player was one of those that's kind of like, he's got to have every single note and inflection and everything right so much that he stops the practice over and over and over, and you never accomplish anything. You just can't get anything done that way. Now again, if he's a great player, I'm not blaming him. Everybody go home and practice and get their parts right and make that work, But if it's consistently like that, then, it's hard to have a creative process with that.
That's so important, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you, not only that, but one of my big pet peeves are whenever I'm in a rehearsal, and I know you've gone through this yourself, and you're trying to have a discussion amongst the band. You know what I'm talking about. You're trying to have a discussion, talking about the music. Yeah, and then you got a drummer. Can't keep his hands off the drum set, or you got
or the guitarist,
or the guitar,
or me being dumb. I get it. Yes, I get it. 100%.
I have had to stop musicians in the middle and say, "Whoa,
yeah,
don't play another note until we have this conversation." And we're played. Yeah. That's frustrating to me.
It is. I'm guilty. But I'm trying to be good.
I understand. All right, let's try this one. want to rip this one on him and see what he does with it. All right, here we go. Popwell, Shag man, he's Shag. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I so much appreciate him being on the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna fall over my own kit. Thanks once again, Shag. We appreciate it, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the close of this show. A few closing thoughts. Did you learn anything? I hope you did. I did, just by being here with the man, you know. So I suggest that you take what he had to say to heart. And if you do, you'll find yourself getting booked more often, at higher paying gigs, at better venues. Who knows what will happen after that, okay? So, from the KTV studios, here in East Hill, Pensacola, this is the Beat Man, telling you to get along with everybody, could you? Please, because life is short, you know, and we should all get along so we can all make money and make music and have some fun, okay? So, that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here on The Beat with your host, the Rich Beat Man in the Bar. Until next week, don't forget, next week, Jim George, he's going to be on the show. Don't miss it. You drummers especially, I'm going to have Jim go over some drum techniques and some theory. You're going to want to hear what his approach is to how he handles different types of music and stuff. You don't want to miss that. So, keep the beat, everybody. It's the Beat Man saying, I'm out.